I think that David Adeleye has a lot of potential. His hand speed, coordination, fluidity, and overall athleticism, for my money, is very impressive. And it's not just physical gifts. He's also a very confident individual. If you see the way he talks in interviews and even the way he moves around in the ring, he's confident and he's also spiteful, which is important. The things that we don't know about him are the intangibles, such as, does he have a chin? Does he have a heart? What's his stamina like? And will he be able to develop his ring craft and ring IQ to a high enough degree that he'll be able to succeed at the upper echelons of the sport? These are all questions which are still to be answered, but he's at the embryonic stages of his boxing career right now. He's just a prospect, just 8-0. He did have a somewhat controversial win over Kamil Sokolovsky a couple fights back. I personally didn't think it was this robbery that everybody else was saying it was. Whatever the case may be, many fighters have such instances early on in their careers. Tyson Fury with John McDermott, even Riddick Bowe back in the days when he fought Tony Tubbs. There was some controversy about whether Riddick Bowe actually won that fight. I know Tubbs was a former world champion and had fought at a much higher level and succeeded at a much higher level than Sokolovsky. Regardless of that, these things do happen in the development of a fighter. So, yeah, I think Adeleye's got a lot of potential there, but in his past 2 fights, he wasn't really snapping his jab. And I said in one of my post-fight reviews, I wonder if Adeleye's got some kind of issue with his shoulder or his arm because he was just pulling the left hand out there. In this fight here against Dominik Musil, I think that's how you pronounce his name. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. His jab was a lot more snappy, a lot more authoritative, and he was able to control the fight using that jab and set up the other shots very impressively. Now, this Musil guy looks like a journeyman, but he did come to fight. It's not like he just came to lay down, look for a comfy spot on the canvas. No, he came to give it a go. He was slinging shots back himself. He was a big lump, I think taller and heavier than Adeleye. So you have to take care, even when you're fighting a journeyman, if he's actually giving it a go and he's a big lump like that. And Adeleye, as far as I'm aware, didn't have an extensive amateur background. I think he had about 30 fights, something like that. So for a guy with relatively little amateur experience, you still want to take care even against a guy like this. Adeleye, as I say, controlled him with a jab, broke him down, and took him out in the 4th round. I thought in good fashion. He would have gone down, Musil, from a right hand that Adeleye connected with if it weren't for the ropes, because he fell back against the ropes and, braced himself against the ropes. So he didn't actually go down. He made it to the bell at the end of the round, but his corner decided to pull him out. Either he quit or his corner decided to pull him out. And it was the right decision because the way he fell and the way he was looking, he was in all types of trouble. And Adeleye, as vicious as he is, as spiteful as he is, almost certainly would have come out and finished him off and maybe stretched him out on the canvas. So I thought it was a good performance by David Adeleye. I thought there was improvements there with his jab. And it's mainly going to be ring craft that they have to work on with Adeleye, knowing when to throw certain shots at the right time, at what distance, in what situation, and so on. Because when it comes to the coordination, the athleticism, and so on, it's all there. This is not a guy like a young Frank Bruno, like a Daniel Dubois, or even an AJ, who has a certain stiffness about them. No, Adeleye is a muscular guy, but he's fluid with it. He's not a clumsy guy, 6'4.5". He's well balanced. So these are boxes which are already ticked, even at this embryonic stage of his career. I think his trainers have got a lot to work with there, a lot of natural ability, and they can take their time. He's only 24 years of age. There's no rush, but Adeleye, as confident as he is already talking about facing some of his domestic rivals, saying he's ready for them all. You like to see that. You prefer a fighter who is straining at the leash to get at the next level of competition rather than a fighter who's a little timid and a little concerned. Irrespective of how talented they may be, they need to have the right attitude. It's better to have a fighter that you need to hold back a little bit rather than a fighter that you need to get behind and push, and try and instill confidence into. Adeleye's already got tremendous confidence. So I'll be keeping a keen eye on his career moving forward. I think he's got potential. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as others have suggested, it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe rematch Sokolovsky to put that whole situation to bed, because there are plenty of people, not me myself, but plenty of other people who think it was an out-and-out robbery. And therefore, why not square that situation and show the progression from one fight to the rematch. The same way that Conor Benn did with, was he called Cedric Peno, where he fought him and had an up and down fight, then had a fight in between, then he fought Peno again in the rematch, and he did a much better job second time around. Adeleye's team might want to look at doing the same, because it's not like Sokolovsky hurt him or beat him up or anything like that. I think it's well within Adeleye's ability to beat Sokolovsky convincingly. And from a career progression point of view, from a marketing point of view, it's sometimes good to put these situations to bed to win the confidence of the fans, who ultimately are the ones that are paying your wages, right? They're paying your purses. Not that you should do everything that the fans want you to do, because sometimes the things they want you to do are not sensible, they're not reasonable. But in this particular instance, it probably would do his profile some good to get back in there against Sokolovsky and beat him more convincingly. For me personally, I don't necessarily need to see the Sokolovsky rematch because, again, I didn't think the first fight was a robbery. I thought it was close enough to have gone either way, but I thought that Adeleye winning was perfectly reasonable, in all honesty. So if he moves on to start fighting some of his domestic rivals, I've got no issue with that. But I'm just one man. There are thousands and thousands of other fans out there, and the collective perception that the fans have of Adeleye is going to have a greater impact on his commercial earnings, his potential, than me alone. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below.